it's fall again, and time for some blendering. I'm just gonna do a real quick, what is it? Airplane thing, yeah. Not in super uber detailed airplane, but on a really basic airplane, and just some tips and pointers for you. Show you a quick way to do something. Make it look like an airplane instead of a stick and a box stuck together. So what we have here is our default cube, and I'm going to go to edit mode. You know what? Actually, I'll duplicate this cube first, because I want to do 3 different variations. And I'll just probably get that on the Z, just to show you some variations on it real quick. So for this one, I want to make a... There's not too much variation in the fuselage. Do stuff like this. It's quickie stuff. I'm not doing super detailed, so bear with me. Have something like that for a general fuselage shape. You notice it's just a basic box, nothing fancy. I'm just extruding out. Most of my modeling is done box modeling styles because it is quick and fast. So, like I said, this isn't for super uber detailed planes. I mean, there's more than one way to model. It's not necessarily a right way or a wrong way. And this is for like propeller planes at the moment. But you can also do it for jets. I guess it's fine. Fuselage is a fuselage most of the time. Let's get something started here first. So you'll have airplane. And what you usually end up doing is splitting it somewhere with the loop. In this case, you'll have a high wing plane. And you know, if you extrude, it goes a weird direction. So what you want to do is undo that and change the center to individual origins. And then extrude, and then it goes out. So one plane. And I would suggest using the mirror modifier, so that would be like your high wing plane. And this one will take 2 loops because it's going to be a mid-wing plane. But it's the same kind of idea. Right now it looks blocky and boxy as hell, but I'll show you how to fix that soon. So you got something like mid-wing, and just to get an idea how to do that. And the low wing is pretty much just like the high wing, except it's the other way around. So I'm going to delete that. That just gives you an idea how to start in a general thing. But before you even extrude the wings, so that's what I should have showed you. But it's just a general fuselage form. So edit mode. So you want something like a low wing plane. But before you get to the point where you're actually extruding the wings out, I would suggest this area is going to be the wing. Okay. So what I would suggest doing is adding another loop like this, and at least 2 loops like this. Because to get the wing shape, a wing isn't really a straight out square planar form. I mean, it's close to it, but what you want is an airfoil shape. So what you do is you define your airfoil shape before you extrude outwards. So something like this. This is exaggerated likely. And for the bottom ones, I'm just going to have to cut in. Something like that. So what you want, instead of having a perfect box, is an airfoil shape. Yes. So it's more, an airfoil typically is bigger on the top than it is on the bottom. So it's something like that. And take the whole thing. Turn off the manipulator handle. I always find it gets in the way. So something like this is close. Being low poly is fine. So there you go. You have an airfoil shape for the wing. That's like one of the things you gotta do. And the other thing, most common, is the center line. So I'm just gonna go. And that way I put it in a orthographic mode so I can select it. Oops. So I'm going to delete the whole side there. Add modifier. Where's my mirror? Here it is. So got something like that for a wing. Use something similar. The wing. For the tail. I'm not going to go into the tail. I'm just going to cover the wing right now because that's what I see most often. But the tail, you do a similar kind of thing. So what you gotta do is there. Now you have an airfoil shape. Add. As you can see, you can extrude that out. And that's your basic wing. And I would also suggest putting a loop around the base of it. So, say it here, I have some triangles going around. I'd probably want to do is loop going around it, like so. So when you smooth, it'll be noticeable in that little area. So let's put on the smoothing modifier, see what's going on. Subdivision surface. You can see that loop helps control the wing, keeps it from bulging out too much here. That gives you an idea. The wing actually has an airfoil shape to it. This is real quick. This is ideas for starting out low poly base mesh. So you want your wing to have sweep or taper. So let's show you how to do that real quick. Real quick way to sweep the wing is just, before you add any details, is to just move that back. Oops. Like so. And another thing you can also do on the wing is add dihedral. Just simply moving it up like that. Antihedral, I guess, moving it down. So, what do we do if your wing for some reason already has some details? So I'm going to add some loops. So your wing has detail like that. And you still want to change the dihedral. So how do you do that? One way I know is to use proportional editing. And usually linear is a good one to use for this. Just see, it moves that, but if I increase the area, I can actually change the sweep of the whole wing. But you do have to be careful because the scroller does go up there. I think shift works with it. You can see it changes the sweep of the wing, and it's a little funny though because it will grab more than you want if you're not careful. But that allows you to change the sweep of the wing if there's other details in there. And you can do the same for scaling. So I have a wing, usually the wingtips are smaller than the wing at the root, so usually you have a narrower and smaller wingtip than you do the root. Just a little tricky here because proportional editing wants to grab more than a used to. I think there might be a way to do this with a vertices and a modifier. So let's change this to a vertex group. Assign everything on the wingtip vertex group. And we'll place an edge here. Cursor to the active. In the object mode, we'll create an empty. And then what we can do is add a modifier. Simple deform might work. Or limit it to our vertex group. You can see you can apply your deforms to the vertex group. That's not working too well though. There's gotta be a way to do the same thing as the I'm not seeing anything that looks like it. Well, just have to do it this way. There's more than one way to skin a cat, so I was investigating. But for some reason... Because objects are... That's part of it. That's part of it. Problem is, I want to get this where I don't grab the fuselage, but I grab the... There's no way to really proportional mask edit that is good in Blender. It's one thing that still needs to be fixed, so... However, I can hide stuff, and it works the same, but it's not... You can't see what's going on all the time, which is the downside of it. Supposedly. So, select that, and invert selection, and I can hide. There. The problem is I can't see the actual fuselage where it attaches, so those words could still slide off in a weird way. It's a problem, there is no masking for these proportional edits. No good masking. Not yet. It's something that needs to be added. There. Yeah, because you can see the wings pull out still. That's closer to what I wanted, and something like that. There's still a bit of a sweep or taper there. I didn't do it so smoothly, even though I have it set to linear. I'm trying to do this quick, but it's always working the way I'm used to. And now we see that it did pull out and yank out a lot. That's why I'm kind of disappointed there is no good masking, because you can't see. Yes, it did pull out. So is there a way to fix that? I guess I will have to actually define a custom axis. That's another thing, that's a little trick there. So I pick an edge that is going the direction I need it to go, just the leading edge of the swing. And transform orientations has to be expanded, and you add one. Now we can switch to edge, so define transform. And there. That'll get us in the ballpark. So that's kind of what I wanted. Here, that's close. Turn on smooth preview, and you can see you got a wing that sweeps like that. Just to show you how that works. Tighten that up, you put another loop around there. So for the wingtip, I usually do is another inset. Doesn't seem to be working so well, so what I'm going to do is make it one face. It's still a little funny. Well, the front of it is good, but you can see the tail edge, it drew edges that are kind of garbly. So we have to fix that. So I collapse that edge. Join these edges. Using the join command, because if you use the bridge vertices command, you're just going to have an edge that overlaps. So you got to use the join command so it draws that in between vertices and connects it. Usually add another control loop like so. Now we turn on, and you see you get a nice, fairly clean wingtip like that. And if you wanted to round out your fuselage, in my case, I use loop tools. So say like you wanted to round out most of your fuselage, you go with loop tools. And I'm using select similar, just shift G, so go planar. It's done. Number pad to center my view in case you didn't know. You can go loop tools in the menu here, or you can hit the W's. That will also bring loop tools under specials. Circle there. And scale that. It's a little funny because of your modifier, so what we have to do is yeah, this is mirrored actually. And where is it? Boundary. So you got something like that. You can see it's pretty easy to define an airplane shape. Portion unconnected, and I do want linear. Still not exactly linear, and that's because of circular fall off on that. Because it comes out from the center of the selection instead of the edge. I wish there was different modes for proportional edit. Like I said, it needs to have a proper mask, and instead of just doing from the center of the selection, you should also have one where it projects from the vertices at each edge, so that way it comes even. Hard to explain, but you need to have an even mode of some sort in here instead of just a center mode. But you can do something like that, and I can make that a circle too. But you can see it doesn't look like a brick. You get a nice blended shape. Something like that. It gives you an idea, doesn't it? Alright. So that's the basics. That's how you get a wing to shape like a wing instead of being a flat stick. Use the same for your elevator or your rudder. Just remember that the airfoil for a wing is generally larger on top, but the airfoil for the tail surfaces tends to be more symmetrical. And that's it, really. Simple stuff. You can use templates and stuff, but I'm not going to go into that. This is quick, simple airplane modeling basics for the wing, and you can see it is an airfoil shape. It is not super flat. If I wanted to make it a little more pronounced, you can go here, and I'm hold down Control because it'll go all the way to the edge. And see, I want to make this leading edge a little bit higher. So just lift it up on the Z. So and you can also do another thing, which is twist the wings. Some aircraft actually do this too. Again, proportional. So, gotta go proportional. That's not what it is. Yikes. Oh, yes, that's right. In Blender, you have to have your mouse out. Your selection. can actually do is rotate the wingtip so it has a lower angle of attack than the wing root. Some aircraft actually do that, so it will stall at the root first before it stalls at the wingtip. That's an actual thing. Some aircraft have it, some don't. And what that does is it keeps your wingtips from stalling so your airplane stays level, and it also gives you control with your ailerons without wing stall. Wing overstall is a bad thing, so that's why they do that. Some aircraft have this feature, not all though. It's another thing you might add to your wing to make it look a little more realistic. I think that's it. It's something simple.